recording that. Dang it.
So
All right,
15 was on a mortgage, a 15-year mortgage. 30 was on a 30-year mortgage.
Yes.
Okay.
So MDT is mortgage decreasing term. The main face
That's what
value.
we're asking if they want mortgage protection.
Right.
I guess what we really haven't seen is the 10 and the 20, right?
Right. So that would be 10 and 20 is going to be the renewable convertible is going to be your income protection and college education.
Say that again. Sorry. Somebody's texting me.
No, it's okay. RC is going to be the college education or income protection. So renewable convertible is a term policy. It's still a term policy, but it stays steady.
Okay. And what's the 10-year?
Same thing. It's 10-year renewable convertible. It's still going to be the same thing. The premium is going to be different though, because
Does it default? Because I know like when it comes up and gives suggestions, I don't have
Yes.
anything on your needs analysis. Does it suggest based on the kid's age or something, 10 or 20?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
cool.
And it will also do that based on how many years you said you had left on your mortgage. So if they have,
What about, go ahead.
if they have like 5 years left, then they're not going to get a 20-year renewable convertible, right? They're not going to suggest that to you.
What about the face amount on the college, the education?
Mm-hmm. What about it?
Well, like right here, it says face amount's $57,000. Where did it come up with that from?
It is taking that
chart?
That chart, yep, this chart, and then it takes, I think it gives you 2 years is what it's asking for. 2 years at this,
Hold on.
this
Phil
10-year.
just a mess. Oops.
Hi, Omar. It takes 2 years, and then they said that they had already saved 12,000. So then they subtracted that 12,000 from the amount.
Okay. When did you learn all this?
In this training where I'm like, Tony said, he told me last week, was it last week? The week before, I guess. He was like, okay, so now that we've got prospecting and enrolling and appointments, now I need you to learn individual. And I was like, I'm sorry, what now? And he's like, because I need you to teach everybody. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And he said, well, you better learn because you're teaching people next week. And I was like, oh my God. So,
wow. Kudos to you, Diana, because you learned a lot quickly, and wow.
And sometimes I just make crap up, so don't tell anybody.
You do not.
No, I just write it down and ask somebody later because I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Crap.
Well, sorry, I'm asking all these technical questions.
No, it's good. It's good because somebody else is probably going to have the same questions. And I should have recorded the questions, so I messed up there. What else we got? What else questions, peoples? Hi, John.
Oh, I'm on 2 different calls here, and I don't know what's going on.
Oh, well, fine. Don't be with us then.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Hey. I have to mute this one. Love you guys.
Love you too. All right, so that's funny. All right, what else? And once you're in this screen, you guys can manipulate it however you need to. So you can see the total premium here. If you are like, okay, well, hey, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't really like 10-year term. Let's look at a whole life policy for that. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can change, and you can change this amount. It's going to show you that premium. Okay, if you're in that conversation like I had with Connie, I'm in whole life. Then she starts telling me all these what a hot mess her life is. I went back and I was like, okay, now listen, Connie. Now that you've told me more about your medical history, let's go back and we're going to talk about ALX since you didn't, you weren't quite upfront with me at the very beginning whenever I asked those questions. So now we got to reevaluate here.
Can I interrupt really
Yeah.
quickly? Because I have to jump off this call really quick. I want to address your text message to me. Can I do that really quick?
Yes, please.
Okay. So whole life, not ALX, bills cash. That's the question. They both bill cash, ALX and whole life both build cash value.
Yes.
Yep.
Got it.
Paid up in 20 years or pay on it until they die? Is that what's the question there?
Okay, so when we are pitching whole life at the worksite level, it's usually the ALX. And so we always say it's paid up in 20 years. But when you're on individual side, whole life, you're paying on it their whole life till age 120, right?
The whole life, yes.
Okay.
121 technically, but yes.
Okay.
But the ALX is still paid up in 20 years.
Okay.
Okay.
What about for a kid? If you're doing the Head Start whole life, it's still
20
pay on it.
years. I love ALX for children.
Okay, but so Head Start is ALX or Head Start is whole life?
First of all, Head Start is a program. It is not any kind of policy, right?
Okay.
Just like final expense is just what we call it.
Okay.
So a Head Start is basically still a whole life program. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So if they're so
I
Head
know.
Start
Sorry.
is the concept. Just like income protection is a concept. It's not an actual policy. So
Right. Okay.
So the life policy on a child, a whole life policy on a child, could be ALX as well, but you have to actually change it. When it comes up as a Head Start, it's just going to assume that the kid doesn't have health conditions.
Okay.
So you actually have to change it to ALX.
Okay.
And then
So you have to ask those questions to make sure they don't have health conditions to know
Okay.
if you need an ALX or not.
Yes. So when you're doing your A250, those health questions apply to all applicants, even children.
Right.
So be careful when you have children on there to say, hey, this does include, I am asking about your child as well. So then they'll tell you, whatever.
So the reason Head Start came up is Diane and I were doing a role play, and she pitched the protection if I died to make sure my kid could go to college. But I said I'd rather just save the money for them to go to college than pay for something in case I die. So that's where she pitched the Head Start. Because I can get the cash value out of it, right? To go to college?
Yes, but do me a favor. Are you calling from your phone? Where's your guys' cameras at anyway? Why are we all black here?
Because we look bad.
So, okay. All right. Break out your calculator for me.
Break out what?
Your calculator.
Got it.
All right. So Diana, put that plan back up there. Do you have a whole life for a kid up there?
Nope, but I can. Here we go. A250.
But
and Buddy's the kid.
Are you in worksite?
What?
You're not in worksite.
No, this is individual. This is still Steve, and then I put my kid in there for just to show him.
Great.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to put done for a kid. All right. And then select whole life. And then 25,000. Premium waiver. All right. And what is that price?
1611.
All right. Now do 1611 times 12. How old? This kid must be a teenager.
He's 10.
10? Okay. All right. Times 20. If every dime went to cash value, there would only be $3,800 in cash value in 20 years. So when people say that, I tell them, well, they're always surprised at how little cash value. And then the cash value isn't going to be every dollar that you put into the policy. I mean, it may be, even if you called it 50%, divide that number by 2 for me. You're looking at $1,900. So you'll hear a parent say, I've been paying on this for 20 years and that's all the cash? Well, yeah, you're only paying $16 a month. And that's for a 10-year-old. Imagine if this kid was, younger and the policy was $9 a month. Do that again. So do $9 times 12 times 20 divided in half. There's not a lot of cash value building up in the kid's policy. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's just not a ton because you're not paying a lot. There's going to be no magic money that life insurance companies, including ours, are going to give to a parent because they bought this policy. So parents misunderstand how that works because they'll see the Gerber Life commercial and it's like, yeah, we'll double your payment after they're 18, or it's not a cash building program. It really isn't. So, so when a parent would tell me I'd rather save the money, sure, completely agree. How old are you, ma'am? And they'll tell me, how much do you have saved for your child so far? Well, none. That's exactly my point. You haven't started saving, and I get it. Listen, life is tough. The economy is bad. No one's saving a lot of money right now. I get it. So wouldn't you rather invest into a program, because it's not a matter of if you die, it's when you die. Now, personally, I hope you never die. We all know it's going to happen, but I hope you never die, or it's a very long time. But just think, Kobe Bryant did not get up that morning, get ready to head to a game, and think that it would be his last day. And I used the silence for effect.
I know. Way to be a downer there, Omar. Jeez.
You scared us all.
That's what your job is to get them into a position to.
Right? He had me sad for a second.
I know. Jeez.
Listen, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hit you where it hurts, because here's the thing. And it's not about money for me. It's about knowing that you're taken care of. That if you don't have coverage for your family in place, what do? Jennifer, are you married, Jennifer?
No.
Do you have children?
Yes.
So if something were to happen to you, does your children have the ability to write a $15,000 check to cover your final expenses?
No.
How about your mom and dad?
Maybe.
Yeah, but check this out, Jennifer. That's not a loan. You're never going to pay that money back. It's going to inconvenience almost anybody we're talking to as a company, because we're not talking to people who, we're talking to the common guy. Listen, my mom, she was figure it out and scrape up the money some kind of way, but it would put her in a bad spot to try to have to come up with $10,000, $15,000 to bury me, right? So that's what I want my clients to understand. Yeah, it's kind of a downer and it kind of sucks, but the truth of the matter is, if you just say yes to option one, I ain't gonna have to hit you with the wham bam. Just say yes to option 1 or 2. And if you don't, I'm gonna make you feel like this big while you're getting your nails done, getting your hair done, watching Game of Thrones on HBO, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, where's my Starbucks people? Kristen, you look like a Starbucks girl. I knew it. How much is what do you get over there? Look at this. We're on quarantine and she still got it. Tell me, what do you drink? You're on mute.
Who?
Anything she can get her hands on.
I got you, Christine. I got you. I muted you because of the dog. Okay.
No, it's $5.60.
Oh, I love it when they're exact, because I love my calculator. Now, Kristen, is it safe to assume that you're doing this 5 days a week when you go into the office?
Yep.
All right, Omar.
Times
so it's
5.
time. Oops.
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say she doesn't go on Saturday and Sunday. Times 52. Wow.
Shit.
I know. Don't look at that.
Wow. So
I am on the rewards program.
you're telling me that you can't afford to take care of your family, but you can spend $1,400 a year on coffee. Okay. So listen, So, okay, do me a favor. What was the total price of this product here that you have on the screen, Diana? Give me a roundabout
For which one?
for all three of them. For all the
Oh.
A250 you have on there.
I think it was like a 155 a month is what we had agreed on, right?
Yeah,
Everybody?
150. Yep.
Okay, so 150 divided by 30. So for the same amount that you spend on a cup of coffee, we can protect your family. Now, Christina, if it's me, I know we've been talking and you've told me multiple times that you understand and this makes sense to you. So for the meager, are you married, Christine? Christine?
Complicated.
Complicated.
We'll just say no.
I don't know how
We'll
marriage
fight
is
over
complicated.
Starbucks bill.
Either you is or you isn't, but okay. So no, so it lies all on you. So $5 a day to take care of your family. You having your final expense. I don't know what program it is, but whatever it was, final expense, you know.
We did
whatever.
final expense, mortgage protection, and the kids' college education.
Okay, so we have all of those benefits taken care of. So here's the thing that I want to ask you. What's going to have a bigger impact in your family on the day that you die? Having $150 in the bank or having all of those benefits taken care of?
We're having everything taken care of.
Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. So basically what we're talking about is when people are, I want to think about it. Oh, I don't know. So listen, I help people think about this all the time. And I get it. You don't want to make the wrong decision because this is a big decision for your family. But I do help people think about it all the time. And generally, Christine, what it comes down to is one of two things. Do I think I need this to protect my family, or can I afford this? So I'll ask, do you need all those things taken care of? And you said, yes, of course you do, right? Now, the only other thing is, can I afford this? So I never pretend to understand what a person has in their bank account, Christine. I just don't know. But what's going to have a bigger impact? This $5.10 a day, or taking care of all of these benefits. Now, again, if that is too much for you, we do have options. So if option one is too much, let's go and take a look at option two. And then I get it. Then I sell that. And now we're talking about $3 a day. Because 93 divided by, about $3 a day. So now instead of Starbucks, Christine, you got to go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry. Right? Listen. So I know people think that people may feel that I'm aggressive, and it's true because I know more than you, client, about life insurance. You know more about whatever your job is than I do. You're the professional. If I came to your job asking how to build car parts, I would bow to your knowledge because I have no clue how to do that. But in this arena, I am the man. So if you don't have these things taken care of, we are guaranteed to die short of the rapture. We're all going to die. How do you want to leave your family? And you got to master the power of the pause. Just be quiet and wait for an answer. I'll wait. Then that uncomfortable silence makes them respond to you because they're like, oh, he ain't gonna say nothing else, so I guess I better talk. So, and that's the question. And think about it, guys, when you're asking a person, so it's so important that you use what I call touch points. So after the final expense, it says, you can see how absolutely vital this is to your family when you die, right? And then I don't just go by that. Don't say, you can see how vitally important this is to your family, right? And then you keep reading. I'm looking for a verbal response from you. So Jennifer, do you see how vitally important this is to your family when something happens to you, right?
Yes.
All right. So what you want is to hear the words yes. I don't want to shake my head or a yes or mm-hmm. I want you to say yes, because that is priming your mind to say yes about the policy. So those other touch points. Hey, does that make sense? So throughout the booklet, it's asking, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes, 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 yes. You've heard that about 7 times on top of, do you see how valuable that is? Yes. So basically, you've told me this whole presentation that $150 makes sense. So when I say go get your checkbook and driver's license, how can you say it doesn't make sense now? So if you can get them to agree that they need their final expenses taken care of, they need their income protected so their family lifestyle doesn't have to change, and that they need their mortgage paid off and send a little Billy to school, if you can get them to agree to that, then the only thing is left is the negotiation on cost, right? So again, if it's 150 is too much, down close it, take it to 93. That has to make you feel better. No? Okay, great. Down close some more. $70 have to make you feel better, right? No? Okay, great. Down close some more. $60 have to make you feel better, right? Yeah, $60 does feel better. Okay, great. Go grab your checkbook and driver's license.
So now, Omar, whenever we did our pretend one here a little bit ago, I did the down close, and we stayed with the whole life insurance, but a good question came up since we have our funeral final expenses, and then we have the children's education, and then we had mortgage protection on here. Because those aren't, like, we didn't have income replacement, it didn't suggest that for us, income protection. I didn't do that down close. Somebody asked, like, well, what if they were specifically saying, you know, is that whenever we can say that before we down close whole life, can we ask them, well, of these 3 benefits, you've got your funeral final expenses, you've got your mortgage, and you've got your college education, which of those is the most important to you? Can you go ahead and ask that, or do you want to go ahead and down close life first?
Nope, I want to down close life. Here's my reasoning for that. All right. So I'm old school Detroit man, so you know I'm a Cadillac guy. Would you question for Terry? Would you rather have a 2020 fully loaded Cadillac, or would you rather have a 2000? Okay, this fully loaded Cadillac does not have an engine, steering wheel, or back seats.
All right.
Or would you rather have a 1999 Ford Fiesta that has an engine, seats, wheels, tires, the whole 9 yards?
I'll go with the engine. Yeah.
So you don't want this to, it was a Cadillac, come on.
I know it. Yeah.
Black on black, it's nice.
Very pretty, but yeah. No, functionality is important.
There you go. So that's the whole point. You don't want to give a person an incomplete product, right? And that's what happens with the Cadillac. So the option 1 is the Cadillac of services. That's all, all the bells and whistles. So I don't want to jump to what do you want to take off this Cadillac in order to put it into your price bucket? Do you want to take the wheels off, or do you want to take the engine out? Do you want to take the transmission off? Like, who would do that?
Right.
Well, just give me a different car. So that's what the down closing is. So now I'm taking it from a Cadillac to a, I don't know, whatever, a Honda Accord. I'm taking it from an Accord to a Honda Civic, taking it from a Honda Civic to whatever's cheaper than that. And then when you finally taking this car to its bare bones, listen, which of these programs can you live without the most? And then take it away. And the next thing you're going to say is, this is exactly what you want, right, Jennifer? Go get your checkbook and driver's license.
Right.
So yes, before you start taking programs away, down close. So even on the income protection, so the default is 2 years, right?
Right.
Instead of taking the income replacement away, I'm going to down close it to 1 year. And then I'm going to ask, get rid of the product.
When do you do the non-inflation option?
You never do the non-inflation offer.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens if you do that, it won't give you your option 1 and option 2 because it's already on non-inflation. So never check that box. Let it give you your option 1 and option 2, because here's what people need. They kind of feel like they really want you to tell them what you want me to do. So what should I do? That's what they're in their mind. They're like, well, what do you want? So this is why I always give 2 options and I never give you 4 options. So 1 option is not enough. It's too easy to say no. 4 options, confusing. They're going to say no. I don't know what to do. It's too many choices. Let me think about it. I don't want to talk. 2 options is plenty. It's like the Goldilocks. 1 bed is too soft. 1 bed is too hard. 1 bed is just right. So one is not enough. 4 options is too many. 2 options is perfect. So so with the 4 options, people will go, okay, so here's your final expense with this, plus here's the cancer policy on top of that, and here's the cancer policy with cash, here's the critical illness. Which one of these you want? And their heads are ready to explode. Too many. I don't want any of that. I gotta go. So 2 options and then down close. And I have to go. My call got moved to 4:30, so that gave me an extra couple minutes to hang with you. Tony's probably thinking, I thought he was getting off our call. And I was. They moved the meeting. So anyway, here's the other thing. This is for you, Diana. When
Yes.
you're doing these practices,
Yes.
don't. Are you creating any kind of leads in Epic?
Right now,
Yes.
only on my real calls, not right now.
Okay. If you use fake leads in Epic, they cannot be erased. So if you're going to use an example, which is okay, make sure that it's obviously a made-up name. I use superheroes. So
I like that.
clearly nobody's buying a policy from Bruce Wayne,
Right.
Batman, or
Right.
Clark Kent, or whatever. So we just ran across some leads that we thought were fake. We weren't sure. And I just wanted to I said, I'm going to tell Diane not to, if you're going to create fake leads in Epic, make sure that it's obviously not.
Does that automatically, like if I click test application, it doesn't put my referrals in, right? Or does it?
No.
I've been hitting test application, so
Okay.
hopefully that's true.
Yes. So, guys, I got time for 1 or 2 questions.
Ooh, here's a question. I don't know if Derek asked you in his last meeting. He was asking me yesterday, is there a way besides doing bank draft that people can have a mail-in bill? Okay.
And he did ask me.
Okay, good. I know, I was like, I don't know that answer to
If
that
they
one.
don't have a bank account, it is a wrap.
Okay.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Well, I will talk to y'all next week sometime.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
weekend. Reach out if you need me.
Thank you so much.
Your help.
Hello.
All right, so the next thing on the agenda, you guys, is at 4 o'clock. Oh, John, yes, sir.
Sorry, because I was kind of late. I missed kind of the
I lost you, John.
Can't hear you,
I lost
John.
you. Say it again.
Oh, you're muted.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I missed kind of the drop down in price to make it comfortable for them.
Yes.
So in that example you had there, you had different things, right? You had whole life. What else did you have in there?
So when we did the down close earlier, we had whole life for both people, mom and dad. We had mortgage protection, and then we had college education. So what? Go ahead.
So the system determines 4.5% of their income, correct? And it applies the dollars first to whole life for permanent protection, correct?
Correct.
And then if there's enough money, it goes into term insurance for mortgage protection.
Right. Income
Okay.
protection, mortgage protection, college
Correct.
education. Yes.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't do decreasing term for mortgage and college.
It does a decreasing term for mortgage. It does renewable convertible for college.
Okay. So, at the end, so when you adjust for pricing and all they can afford is, in their mind, the $30,000 for whole life, what Omar was saying was you're not eliminating anything. and just going with the whole life, you're doing a reduced amount of the entire picture, correct?
Correct. So their game plan is when you get to that screen, you've gotten to this screen right here,
Right.
okay? And the script says, if that all makes sense, starting as of today, you've taken an important step needed to be properly covered because this plan is intended to help fulfill your current needs. The only question I have for you is which option works best for you? Option 1, which provides all the benefits but has inflation built in for your final expense cost down the road, or would you prefer option 2 that provides all the benefits and covers your funeral expenses today's costs? Okay, and then you say, John, you say, man, that looks really good, but that's just too expensive for me. Okay, so then I say, all right, I totally get that. I totally completely understand. So then I'm looking at my down close. This is what they want you to do. Okay, so let me adjust that. I hear what you're saying. What I'm hearing is that you do think you need it, but that you can't afford it. So let me adjust that for you. I'm going to switch this and we're going to go to here. This will be today's costs. Okay, so we've got you to be covered at $15,000. That'll put you at funeral costs for today. Okay, so now you've got to be feeling better about this premium, right, John?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you say, you know,
Nah,
it's
Not quite, not quite there, but
all right. Okay. Well, I hear what you're saying. I understand everybody's budget's tight. We're all having a hard time with what's going on. Let me adjust it again and see what we can do for you. Now, 10,000 is about as much as it's going to cost to put you in the ground right now. Okay. So I'm down closing again. Now you've got to be feeling better about that, right, John?
yeah.
And this still covers you and your wife. It's going to cover you for funeral and final expenses. And you've still got that coverage for,
Well,
for your son.
I'm being, kind of honestly, the 10,000 is a little short. Your guy said it was 15,000. So shouldn't I just eliminate the cost for my kids because the odds of them passing away is not going to happen before me.
Well, that is certainly something that we can do if you'd like to. What I would suggest though is at least having that coverage, and what you're doing is you're locking it in for them for the rest of their life. They're never going to pay more than that. And really, hopefully your child's not going to die in the next 20 years. So he's going to be covered in that inflation period as well.
So we're recommending as a company to reduce the direct expenses for funeral for the older people in lieu of maybe adding coverage for the younger kids later on. So that's that. I'm just trying to understand the concept, because this is about concepts, right?
Yes, it's about a concept.
So
So
we're they want us to reduce the whole life permanent coverage for the primary and spouse, let's say, first and foremost, before removing anything else on the bottom half.
that's what Omar said. Yes. Now,
Okay.
whenever I was going through it earlier with Edie and we were talking about it, and she said, what if they're like, listen, my kid's not going to go to college. I'm not that concerned about college education. I feel like that's got to be your call as the agent. Like if you
Sure.
feel like that person is saying, I really think 30,000 for me and my wife is the most important thing, and I'm not as concerned about college education. Me as an agent, I'm going to take that college education off. Okay.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do, because if first of all, whole life's going to give you more of a paycheck on your end as the agent, but then second of all, you're listening to what your client is saying. Okay.
Right.
So home office is saying, no, we down close here and we keep this intact. But I think if your client is saying, listen, I'm not as excited about college education, take that one off, put my money back in my whole life, then I'm going to do that. And that's going to be my prerogative as the agent.
Right, and that was a question I was trying to come to was, yeah, I want to go with what the client wants to do, but I'm trying to understand the concept here because I know everything's about concepts. We're not selling insurance. We're trying to sell a conceptual package.
Right.
But that's where I was just trying to understand how this selling down was processing each step of the way. So you went from 30 to 15,000, then you went from 15 to 10,000.
Yes.
Correct.
And then they said you can go again to 7,500. Once you get to 7,500, you don't go down whole life anymore.
Okay.
And then
if you then
you
gotta
go
take-
from, yep, income is usually defaulted to 2 years. They want to switch it to 1 year. So you're only covering that income for 1 year. Now, in this example that we did, they did not get offered income replacement. Okay, because not everybody gets offered everything. So we didn't do that. And then the following question would be, okay, now of these 3 benefits that you have, what is the most important to you? What is something that you cannot live without? Well, I definitely need to cover my mortgage because my kids need to live in their home. Or I definitely need to cover funeral final expenses because I know that that's going to be, that's going to be an issue with, whatever. So
I got you. So that's how they do it. You take it down to 30, 15, 10, 75. Then from there, the income rule, then find what's most important. And then you plug in what's most important. I got you.
right.
So on the other screen, you had like both the husband and the spouse, one under 30,000, one under 15,000. So you just checked which one you're doing because they're not doing both, right?
Correct. It won't let you choose both. It'll automatically switch you in your app. So this is option 1. So whenever your screen pops up, it's going to show you option 1 is going to be here, 30,000. And so whenever you're in your script and it says, which option would you prefer? Option 1 provides all the benefits but has inflation built in. Option 2 provides the benefits but at today's cost. This is option 1. Hold on, let me recalculate. This is option 1.
Okay.
And then this is option 2. So this is without inflation. The non-inflation cost, that's the 15.
Okay. And then you can downgrade that.
Yep.
As you did.
And
Okay.
you can type into those, yes.
Now, where is this at again, this app that you're using? Because that's what the thing, I wish Derek would have had me when we were doing my individual kind of do this part myself. But because where is this app at that you're plugging all these numbers into?
This is the consolidated e-app. It's on agent services. So let me pull up, give me 1 second. And I can pull up to show you where to get it.
Next thing I want to do, I want to just do it myself so I can get used to,
Yeah.
doing it.
Yep. And all you have to do is click test app at the beginning and it won't screw up your system there.
Diana,
So, yes.
on that screen, is there any way to make it bigger with the final offer so that like the whole life is showing as well as the other things, the income, I'm not the income protection that wasn't offered, but like
These down here.
yeah. Is there any way to get it all on one screen?
Let me see. Hang on.
I don't think there really is.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I haven't seen
I'm
it
just
where
a
it's
big-
like that.
I'm just a big picture person, so
Yeah, I mean, the only way that you can do it is if you click next and then you go on to the other
Yeah.
screen.
now the other question is, when we originally did our very first example, do you know why it didn't come up with income protection?
Because they didn't make enough money. We
So
had,
why would it assume that like the college was more important than income protection?
based on the age of the kid.
But
So
you-
if the kid was older,
Then it may not have come up with that. It may not have, like I had one lady, she was single, didn't have kids, and she had $77,000 in what she said was whole life. So whenever I got through here, there was no recommendation. It literally said, John was on the call, no recommendation. This person is not recommended for any life insurance. So what I did was I was like, okay, so it looks like my needs analysis is showing that you have all of your funeral and final expenses completely taken care of. So what I want to show you is that you do have this cancer plan, and I want to show you what it's going to look like to add cash cancer. Okay, and then I pulled that up, and so I could picture something. But it does show up without stuff on there. So you're gonna have to. That's why I said you got to watch that survey, because as it's coming, whenever we were here, let's see, whenever it's going through.
Yeah, if I can add that, Diana, the gal had no mortgage, paid off, right?
Right. So right here, it was saying, instead of based on your survey, let's examine your needs, it said based on your survey, there's no need for any kind of coverage or something. It said something like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was like, that hit my brain. I was like, shit, I got to come up with something else to say. Right?
Diana, it was great because the other, the line above that said, this person doesn't qualify for life insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that they couldn't get it. It was just that they didn't need it because she had said it was 77,000 of whole life. So, and like, she was adamant that it was whole life. So I was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to try to pivot and do something else. So
Well, in that case, do we really want them to see this, what we're doing? If because it might say that, I would
That's
think
fair.
that would be a bad thing.
well, I think at that point, like whenever I'm having a conversation with her and she's like, no, dude, I have 77,000 in whole life. I already know in my brain, like, she's covered. No funeral is going to cost more than 77,000. She's already told me she's single because I built rapport. She already told me she doesn't have kids because we talked about her dog. She already told me that she has no mortgage. So like, I'm already spinning like, okay, she's going to be covered. What am I going to do next? What am I going to say to her? You know, worst case scenario, you get that scene and you're like, man, girl, you are awesome. You did so good. You protected yourself. I am so glad I met you. You're the first person I've ever met that's had all of their needs taken care of. And it's just been a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, the worst thing is you don't pitch them anything and you just have a great day. Okay.
And
It's
you
a
got
good,
your- you got your fiber, you got your
happened to me. That
And you
kinda
get your referrals.
oh my gosh, everybody's talking at the same time. Whoa! What?
I said that kind of happened to me yesterday. I was speaking to one guy. He was like, "Well, I've got $500,000 worth of coverage, and with one company, and 50,000 with my bank." I'm like, "Well, have a good day."
Right.
But referrals.
So Edie's saying, what about referrals? And you're exactly right. So
You know what? And I thought about that after I got off the phone with him.
Yep.
But I'm like, who gave you $500,000?
So you know what? That's so funny because my husband has $500,000 on himself, but it's a term policy. So,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't know the difference between term and whole, and they think they're covered forever, and they're not. But the way that you do that is you are doing the right thing, Jennifer. You were like, dang, you are awesome. Look at you. You build them up. You did a great job. You secured that for your family. You've made a great choice. Now listen, do you know anybody else that has not made that kind of a decision? Because I want to hook them up with at least $3,000 at no cost to them. Let me get that name and number from you. I'm going to call them and get them set up, and they can be starting to make good choices like you just made. And that lady that I had, she had all of her ducks in a row, and she gave me 13 referrals.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to call those people and I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to, rack up some extra business. So we have to like, you got to be quick on your feet. You got to roll with the punches there.
When I got off the phone with him, because I didn't even ask whether it was term or whole.
Right. And he might have been like, oh, I know it's a whole policy, and it's really not. I mean, you don't know because people think they know everything. It's fine, whatever. So, but that is something that we have to have a discussion with people all the time. And you don't want to argue with them either. Like like Connie, I was like, wow, that's a lot of whole life. And usually people don't have that much whole life, but okay, maybe she does. I'm not going to argue with her. That's not my job. I'll be like, hey, listen, that's fantastic. $500,000, that's quite a bit of life insurance. I bet your bill's pretty hefty. No, it's only $30 a month. Okay, well, we know that's not a whole life policy, right? There's no way you got $500,000 for $30 a month. There's no way. But okay, you go on with your bad self. That is fantastic. I would just say, as a professional insurance person, I would just suggest to you to double check on that paperwork. Make sure that it has all the terms and conditions that you know of, because if you have any questions, I'm happy to help answer any of those questions. Okay, so you've relinquished yourself of that responsibility. You've reminded them that they're insane to think that that's actually what they actually have, but you haven't been rude and been like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? So there's only so much we can do on our side. And what Chris Selgin in the individual market, they say, some buy, some won't, so what? And you did the right thing. You said you did a great job, dude. Next time I would go one step further, get some referrals from him, because he obviously thinks it's important to have insurance, which is great. You can provide free insurance to people that he knows, and then you would be golden. Get some referrals and go from there. Okay.
Can I?
Yeah, Edie.
The other thing I was going to add is, by going ahead and showing that sheet that says, there's no recommendations. I think it just shows that we're not out for just to sell insurance,
Yeah.
It really makes us look more credible. Yeah, I don't want to oversell you. And then, like Diana, like you said, then that's the perfect time to flip to those living benefits. You've obviously covered everything that could happen with a death. Have you thought about anything that could happen while you're living?
So, and that was exactly what I was trying to say, that we have an advantage too, because being worksite agents, we do a lot more with the living benefits than the individual market does. So I was able to think on my feet there and be like, okay, well, the reason I called her was because she has the cancer endurance plan and she has a critical illness plan. So what I did was, I knew that already. I know you've got coverage for this. You just told me you have your mortgage paid off and your life insurance. So let me show you the only way that I can think of that you might want to increase your coverage is by this. Okay. And she was like, yeah, I totally want to do that. I just can't afford it right now because I'm laid off. And I was like, okay, cool. When do you want me to circle back? I want you to circle back in 2 months. Okay. I'm going to put you on my calendar. So it's not a no, but I think she appreciated the fact that I wasn't like, you need to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's that building that rapport and really, making a connection with somebody. And I think that's half the battle there. I don't think it's any problem to share with them what my screen looks like. I think that it actually builds trust, because I'm not doing, it's not me. It's the computer said it. The computer said you needed that. And if you don't want it.
How are you sharing the screen again? I think I missed that part. I got on the call a little bit later.
Oh, that's okay. I'm using Zoom, and on Zoom, there's a button at the bottom that says share screen. You're on Zoom right now. There's a green button at the bottom that says share screen.
Just go on Zoom and send them a link or something.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then I pulled up agent services for you, Jennifer. So you should see this website that's behind our pictures.
Mhm.
And it's agentservices.libertynational.com. And then if you go to this website, and you're going to have to log in. So if you don't know your login, you may need to talk to Jen. But over here on the right-hand side in resources, you're going to click on the Consolidated e-app.
Mhm.
And when you do that, it's going to ask you if you want to download it to your computer. Craig says he's had a lot of success with sharing his screen. Yeah, Craig. Woohoo. If you go to that, then it's going to download to your box. I don't know if mine's going to download because I've already have it on my computer, but
Gotcha.
it's a program that'll have to be on your desktop. It is an exe file. So once you get it on there, see, it's not going to do it for me. But once I close this out, let me see if I can get this out of here. You can see it on my desktop. For Pete's sake, I got so much crap open. It's right here. This is my e-app. So I can double click it, and then it'll start the program. And then it'll just pop up. It's like a little window, and it needs internet whenever you first log in, and it needs internet whenever you synchronize every Monday. But after that, if you're out in the field, you can still write apps while it's on there. And Jen Bradshaw can make sure you have that if you need help.
Okay, I'll ask her what my username and password is.
Yeah, it's going to be your username is LN, and your agent number, and then your password is, I don't know. I have to look mine up. I can tell you what it is. My drive, passwords. There's so many passwords. Can't keep track.
You said LN and my agent number?
Yes, your 5-digit agent number. And then it should be to start off with I don't know. I think you have to hit forgot password.
Okay.
And then it'll send you one to your email address. Don't quote me on that though.
I'll try it. Try anything once. Don't tell
That's right, girl. That's right. All right. So we have about 10 minutes before our agency meeting. We're going to do a chat with Chance Nichols. He is Tony's nephew who works with 2nd Street in Chicago, and he's going to talk to us about thinking on our feet and improvisational skills and how to sell over the phone, because that's what he does part of his job. So we'll take a couple minute break and then the meeting will be here in the Zoom room. Okie dokies.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Okie dokies.